All right, welcome to my channel. If you're here, it's because you have terrible taste in strongman content or your algorithm's really fucked up on YouTube, and it could be either or, but either way, here we are. Okay, if you're new here, you haven't missed a lot because I haven't really made many videos in the last probably 6 months. Just haven't done it. If you've been to my channel before, you've seen all the terrible content, but let me catch everybody up on what's going on. So real quick, let's recap 2025 for you to kind of explain where I'm at now. So 2025 went really well. I went qualified to do provincials. I did reasonably well last year. I went to provincials and I won provincials. That's not necessarily saying much. There really was only three of us in the competition. 50 plus was a small category last year. So that gave me rights to go to they set it up. They gave us a pass to Arnold's as well as Nationals. So from there, I went to Nationals and I trained and I busted my ass. And at Nationals, I was second overall in Canada, which earned me another invite to Arnold's. You know, realistically, it only works out to one anyway. Like you can't do anything about it. But I also earned my way to OSG, which is official strongman games. Um, So that was cool. And that was pretty much the end of the season for me. I did a record breaker in December, and I set a national record for axle clean and press at 255, which was actually pretty disappointing because in training I hit 270. You know, on the day, shit happens. So anyway, so we started into 2026. I went to Arnold's with high hopes. I think I had my eyes set too high. I wasn't. I knew competition was going to be tough. Um, I overestimated myself, and then I was disappointed in my outcome. However, I actually, when I really was able to calm down and step back and look at my performance at Arnold's, I did pretty well. You are talking very elite competition, even in the Masters division, which there was 17 or 18 guys. I don't really remember the number. I didn't do as well, obviously. I ended up, I believe, 12th, and I was really hoping for at least a top 10, maybe a top 5. Um, my numbers fell about where I expected them to be. However, my overhead failed me, and only because of the circus dumbbell. Really, what it was is my failure to train to be adaptive to implements. And what I mean by that is the circus dumbbell handle was like 3.5 inches long, maybe 4. And I have been training with a cupped grip likewise. And if I had have trained to wrap my thumb, the handle would have been comfortable and I would have been able to press it. 153-pound circus dumbbell, well within my realm. And I should have been no problem because it was a 120 circus dumbbell, a 225 log, and then a 150 circus dumbbell and a 240 log. 240 log was no problems for me. And it is what it is. But I had a really good experience there, and away we went. Then I had a bunch of things go on. I was signed up to do Battle at the Brink, and I went there and I did that event and basically fell on my face. It went horribly for me. Everything was just bad. My training went really well. My numbers were great, and it fell apart. Sadly, there was only two of us in the comp that day, and I did receive my provincial invite, which to me it didn't count. I wish I had another event to do before, but there really wasn't another event coming up that there was time for me to do. I had other things on the go. In that time period, I got, we'll say sick, and I didn't get sick, but what happened was as I was training on several occasions, I would get dizzy and lightheaded and nauseous. And I've had that before, and I'm sure a lot of people that have pushed really hard have been there for themselves, but every time it happened, it progressively got worse. So on the final day, I was out here and I was training, and I was sick and I was nauseous, and the room was spinning, and I went and I got my son to take me to ER, which is kind of funny because literally the hospital is across the road from me, but the main entrance is actually the next block over. It's like a 3.5 minute walk, but I wasn't willing to take that risk. So I got my son to take me in ER. I spent 9 hours there, and in a small town that is unheard of. They run a CAT scan, and from there things went downhill. And they thought they found an anomaly, a gray area that they thought was either a blockage or dissection. So from there, they basically said to me, don't lift, don't bend over to lift anything, don't do anything, stop what you're doing. I was 3 weeks into my training for provincials, and they shut me down very seriously. And I was scared. Let me break it down. I was terrified because they basically told me there was a possibility I could have a stroke or an aneurysm. Stroke would be bad, and aneurysm could kill me. So, um, fortunately for that, it moved forward very quickly. They sent me for test after test. I did MRIs. I went to the stroke clinic. I had my blood pressure taken. I don't know how many times. They sent me to a cardiologist, and things weren't progressing as fast as I had hoped. I really hoped that I would be able to get moving quicker, and it wasn't happening. So I had made a video on my Instagram and announced that I would not be competing in the provincials. However, I would go because I had a friend. Well, a bunch of my friends were competing, and I thought it's right here in Hamilton. I don't live in Hamilton, but I grew up in Hamilton. It's right there. My family's there and everything like that. I was excited to compete there, but it's somewhere local to me that I can go and I didn't have to worry about it. I already taken the time off work. So shortly after that, the phone calls and the tests started coming back. There's an app that they use, and I can go on that app and see my results. So that's what I had done. And finally, on the one day I was out here messing around doing something, and I got a phone call from the stroke clinic, and they basically told me that there was nothing significantly wrong with me. What they saw in the MRI and the CAT scan and that was nothing. There was zero things that they were concerned about. My blood pressure, my heart rates, everything was good. Even my blood work was good. So what it boiled down to is a somewhat moderate to severe case of vertigo that was brought on by by the heavy lifting. Um, so I had basically been down for 2.5, almost 3 weeks at that point. And I discussed it with my wife, and I said, well, let's give it a shot. I've been kind of half-assed cleared by the doctors. Nobody was in a rush to get me in for any more appointments or anything like that. So to me, I was safe to start lifting again. So I did. I notified my coach, Taylor Woods. I don't know if you guys know who Taylor Woods, but please, please, please check her out on Instagram. Even just Google her name, and when she comes up, she's an amazing athlete and an amazing coach. Anyway, so I said to her, I said, can we put something together in 10 days? She's like, absolutely. If you're willing to do the work, we can do the work. I'm like, all right. So we went to work, and it really didn't even work out to 10 days. It was 6 training sessions that I got in. The deadlift was the one that scared me the most. Trying to get through this really, really quick for you guys. So fast forward, and there I am. I showed up on the doorstep. I decided not to let anybody know that I was actually coming to compete, except for the people in charge. Because what could happen is I could show up on the day and not be well. I could have had a bad workout, and all of a sudden now I'm spinning for 3 days, because that was the length of time that it would last, sometimes 2, 3, 4 days before my head got settled in. So I left it kind of to the last minute, and I knew on the Wednesday that I was definitely going to be able to compete. I still left it, and I showed up on the day. This year there was 9 people qualified to compete, and I knew that I was basically thinking I'm just going to go in and do the best I can. But what happened next was simply I scared myself. I was impressive. The first event was the yoke carry, 600 pounds. My closest competitor was 11 seconds slower. The next event was the circus dumbbell. Most guys were saying they couldn't even get the 130, so it was a trump. So it was 130 and 150. Most were saying they were struggling with the 130. One guy didn't even bother trying. He had a problem with his tricep that he had a partial tear in it. So uh, one of my very good friends, Emmanuel, he managed to get 2 reps out of it, and shaky reps at that. Samantha Koski, who is a pro strong woman, you can look her up too. She is a spectacular athlete, but she was very lenient on us with our lifts. And I don't really, in my personal opinion, I don't think one of my lifts should have counted and two of the other guys' lifts shouldn't have counted. At any rate, I managed to get the 150 up 5 times for 3 solid reps. Then we moved on to the loading race. So I won the yoke and then I won the circus dumbbell. We moved on to the loading race. So it was a 230-pound keg, a 250-pound sandbag, and a 225-pound Inukshuk bag. I have one. It's not loaded. Basically, it's shaped like a little man. If you've ever seen up here in Canada, we see it quite a bit when you get up north. They stack rocks and it looks like a little man. They're kind of a marker. And that's basically, I have the bag here. Like I said, I haven't filled it. So that's basically how it's shaped. And this bag can be good and bad. If it's packed really hard, it's kind of easier to pick up. If it's kind of flaky, the arms can sag and it's tough to get a grip. So anyway, only one other competitor completed that loading race, and I did it in 24 seconds. I blew through it. Um, so I won the first 3 competitions. The next one was the deadlift. Now, deadlift is my weakness. It was the trap bar deadlift, low handles. They had switched it around. It was supposed to be high handles. But I still knew that deadlift is my weakness, and I'm going to play defense on this one, and that's what I did. Two of the competitors got 2 reps. Two of the competitors, the guy that won it, got 12 reps at 500 pounds. The second place guy got 9 reps at 500 pounds. I knew I just had to beat the 2 guys, so I pulled it 3 times and I called it. There was no point in pushing myself past the limits that I needed to go and burning energy that I didn't need to. So that still left me quite a ways in the lead. The last event, which became a problem, was a tire flip. It was a 620-pound tire. And we moved it outside because inside the arena, it was a hockey arena, the traction on the floor was kind of sketchy. I think we could have got it, but it was kind of sketchy. So they moved it outside to the asphalt. The downside of moving outside to the asphalt is it started raining that day. And so we got into it. Now, everybody's chalked up. The trouble is when it started raining a little bit, the chalk becomes greasy. It makes for an issue. So basically, we went at it, and one guy got 0 reps, one guy got 4 reps, and then one guy got 3 reps, and then unfortunately, what happened is because the rain had started, um, the tire had started to get greasy. He had chalk on him, and when he had it up and he went to readjust, he tore his bicep. Now, in all fairness, he didn't have the ability to beat me on the tire that day. I knew I was better than him, and I don't say that lightly. I never say that lightly about any competitor or any event. So one of the competitors, who's actually a friend of mine, Pete, he had a rough day, but he hit PRs. He didn't do great that day, but we convinced him to come and do the provincials just for the experience and the fun of it, and he did. And I'm very proud of him. I've known Pete for many, many years. He was around with my kids growing up and stuff like that. So he's a close friend of mine, and I pushed him all day long to push himself, and he did really well. He was very good. He was natural with the tire. So it was then my turn. Because of the way the points were, I ended up getting to go last, even though I was third in the fourth event. Typically, that's just the way they do it. So I had the option to go, or the ability to go last. So I knew what I had to do. So I managed 3 tire flips in just over 30 seconds. And at that point, the organizer, Andrew, come out and he basically shut it down. He said, "That's it. We're not doing it. We've got guys that one guy that was hurt. like torn the torn bicep, and I guess somebody else got hurt. They dropped the tire and it landed on the foot type thing. So he was in a bit of a mood about it because people have been complaining and whatnot. So he shut it down. So I ended up at that point I was second place, which didn't change anything for me. I was still 6.5 points ahead of anybody that was close to me. They came back to said that we have the option in each class to go ahead and finish the event. But at that point, I thought to myself, first, I don't need to. I had already won the event. I had already taken the first place title. Um, and to be honest, as a favor to a friend, and I didn't give it to him, but I kind of did because I had 25 seconds left to get two more reps, which was well within my wheelhouse, but it just didn't seem worth the energy. I was tired. I was sore, like everybody. You know, you spend all day with your adrenaline up and down, and you're eating junk, and you're full of caffeine and sugar, and it snowballs from there. So that's what happened. So they come to us and said, "Do you want to finish the event?" And I said, "No, no, I don't. I don't see the purpose. I'm gonna I'm gonna gift my friend, and he knows I gave it to him, but it's I wanted him to have that feeling like I won an event. I was there. I showed up on the day, and he didn't come in last. He was second to last out of it. Now, by the way, but there was ended up being five of us in the competition because one guy dropped out, and I joked that he met me and decided that he couldn't keep up with me. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's a little bit of a joke that I made. So there's that. So at the end of the day, I mean, I got to walk away with a second provincial title, a much more well earned provincial title because I just all day long I was on fire. So with that, that earned me another invite to Arnold's, an invite to the Nationals yet again, which is in Quebec City, Quebec, and I still have my invite to OSG. Looking at things and how things are playing out, I've decided I'm not going to do Nationals this year. The numbers are starting to come out for OSG, which is Official Strongman Games. It's in Ocala, Florida this year. I have a lot of work to do. I mean, a lot of work to do. I'm not going to win the event. There's no way I can. There's big names that compete in it. I don't know who signed up, but last year there was Adruna Zavickas, Mark Felix, guys of that caliber. Just, I'm 235 pounds. These guys are 300 plus, and they're ex-pro strongmen. They're untouchable from my aspect. So I'm not considering that. What I'm considering is how good can I do in my world and where can I stand against everybody else. So that's the plan, is to go do OSG. Whether I do Arnold's again next year, I don't know. I'm undecided. I kind of, at 51, I've kind of decided that it's kind of a bucket list thing to me. I've been to Nationals a couple of times. I've made it to Arnold's. I want to make it to OSG. One of the things I'd love to do is maybe to get to um, England or Britain or something and maybe get involved in one of the comps there. I'm going to do Static Monsters in the spring, in February, sorry, I guess. And if I do well there, I could get invited to the Static Monsters World Championships, which is in Europe somewhere. A friend of mine is actually going to it. So I would love to do that. That would be cool. I'm really, yeah, like I said, bucket list items. So that's a recap. This was supposed to take like 2 minutes. I think I'm like 10 minutes in now. However, I'm gonna I'm gonna stop right here for a minute, and I'm gonna show you on the board what we have for OSG. I don't know if you can read the board, but we'll see. All right, I pissed around with the lights for like 10 minutes here, and I couldn't get anything. There's still a line across there, so it's very hard for you to read. So there's three events that are announced right now. I'm gonna make this quick because I just realized this video is already 20 minutes long, and I didn't mean for it to get there. All right, so the first one is called the carry and climb. So it's going to be a Zercher carry of 575 pounds to power stairs, three steps at 16 inches with 375-pound implement. Zercher carry, I'm pretty decent at it. I could definitely be better. I haven't done it a lot, so I have basically 100 days to get good at it. The next event is the sandbag steeplechase. So it's 25 foot run to the bar. You throw a hitching bar. You throw it over, pick it up. You throw it over, go around, pick it up, carry it another 25 feet, load it onto a platform. So you're doing this twice. So the first bag is a 250, and the second one is 275. Both I'm pretty decent with sandbag, but that's a heavy carry. That once you get to the 275, it's a heavy carry, and then a couple of picks and then a load. So we'll see. Right now, the last event that they've announced is the deadlift ladder, and this is going to hurt because the opening one is 585. Then you go to 635, 675, 710. My best deadlift is 530. Now, at OSG, we're allowed to use a suit. So I'm going to see about getting suited up. Um, a suit will add anywhere, I don't know, 20 to 30%, I believe the numbers were. So a 585 might be possible in a suit if I can pick up another 5 to 10 pounds on my deadlift. I'm friends with Justin Zottel. If you guys are unfamiliar with Justin Zottel, he is #1 power lifter in Canada. I don't even know what his stats are. I just know like this guy's squatting 900 to 1,000 pounds. He's benching 4, 5, 600 pounds, and he's deadlifting again 8, 900 pounds. And my numbers may be off. So if you look up Justin Zottel, you'll get a better idea. But again, he is a power lifter, so I might go have a little chat with him and see if he'll work with me on my deadlift. Nothing against my coach, but she is a very well-rounded competitor. But I want to talk to somebody that is an extreme, like he 3 events he works on, and one of them is deadlift. So he's very good at the deadlift. I'm not nearly as big as this guy. He's a monster, but he might be able to give me cues that might automatically give me that other, 5 or 10 off the hop before I start trying to build more strength. So I may end up pulling an extra. I may get an extra 20 pounds on my deadlift, which would put me in the 550, 555 range. And then with a suit, I may have a shot at 635. I mean, I'm reaching here. We know that. But let's just see how it goes. Okay. I'm going to call this video here. That's where we're at. That's where I'm at. That's what's going to go on. And I'm going to start making some videos, and I'm going to keep them way shorter than this because this one's at about 25 minutes now. So, guys, stick around. I hope you come back. I hope this update helps those that are interested and give a little insight on what goes on in some people's journey. I hate that. This is what's going on for me, and I hope you guys come back and check out what goes on furthermore. I'm going to go do some Zercher carries, which I'm going to film, and I'll make another video for a couple of days from now. And I'll just get this one out so I can get some content out and have some fun for you guys. It's probably not terribly exciting, but I hope you come back. I need more followers. I need more likes. I need more, content on the algorithm so I can get rich and famous and be an asshole like I want to be. Thanks for watching.